Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Live to Be Well. I'm your host, Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin. We are so excited to be with you. I pray that you've had a good day and a blessed week so far. I want to welcome my co-host Micha ML6 to the program. I want to welcome her. How you doing, ML6?
Greetings.
Greetings. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. Our topic tonight is make it make sense. Hidden racism, stress, and grief. We're tying a lot of things in tonight. And again, we want to welcome everyone to the broadcast. It's good to be back. Happy New Year. God bless you. And we want to get into this for this hour. Our question tonight: how do subtle acts of racism in today's divided climate contribute to stress and grief? How does subtle acts of racism in today's divided climate contribute to stress and grief? And I have to say, our community, our nation is truly grieving, and they are under a lot of stress. Wouldn't you say that, ML6?
They are.
So let's talk about, I made a comment to you about racism is hidden, and you said it is not hidden. It is right out in front of us now. Let's talk about that.
I mean, with this new administration, they're not hiding anything. You have people in the cabinet blatantly saying that this country needs to be led by white men and white men only. Their main reason for getting rid of, and we won't tap too much into that because we have something coming for you all later this month as it pertains to DEI. But their main reason for even getting rid of it is because in their mind, it was only black, brown, and then women, but it was really black and brown people. Just the way they're even, they literally have a new age concentration camp at Guantanamo Bay for quote unquote illegal immigrants. But the reality situation is everyone they're picking up isn't illegal. So the racism is loud. Just the other day, they had white supremacists and the KKK walking through, the streets of DC, walking through the streets of Nashville a couple of months ago. Just recently, there was somebody they're putting up Nazi signs on their lawns, and then replacing it with the American flag. To me, whenever I see someone with the American flag on their lawn, I just in my mind I automatically think, especially right now, like, yeah, you're on the other side. So racism is not as hidden as it once was, and now they feel like they can be free. It's alive and well on social media. I made a post about something, and the amount of people that I had to block because of the things that they were saying to me that was extremely racist. And one thing I'm not gonna do, I don't go back and forth with nobody. I don't. I say what I say, and if you come into my space, I'll just block you.
That's right.
What I'm not gonna do is give you that attention that you so desperately need.
Right.
I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. So, but the amount of people that I've had to block, and then just if I see something that I do not like, it can be on somebody else's page. I don't even know them. I will block that person because I don't want to see anything else that you have to say on anybody else's post because you're just that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's loud now. Racism is loud. Mm-hmm. Hate is loud.
Hate.
It's literally overpowering love and common sense.
Right. Let's talk about stress and what the stress is doing that's causing the grief in our nation today. People are stressed about. Let's talk about what's going on with the federal government. Over 20,000, and it's over 2 million federal workers who are employed by the federal government. Mm-hmm. And they are truly in a stressful mindset. Do I sign to leave my job, or do I stay with the possible consequences of me not or revolting against the administration? And the stress of feeding my family, taking care of my family. I've had this job for 25, 30 years, and now I'm hit like this, or 13 or 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to make a decision to leave my job. And what's 8 months going to do? What's going to happen after the 8 months?
They
You
don't,
know, exactly.
they don't, they
What
don't care.
they
And
don't care.
the report that I just saw, 20,000 government employees, up to 20,000 government employees have taken the deal. It's starting. So what's happening right now is they're developing a coup, so to speak, with Elon Musk. And then they just gave him some type of government official name because everybody was making a big deal because he was a civilian. There's so much stress right now.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about the stress is a lot of the stress is coming from people who didn't believe that that man was going to do everything that he said that he was going to do. He didn't cover it.
Mhm.
There were some things that he definitely lied about, but there were a lot of things that he was very, very like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
And
was.
they didn't believe him, which is crazy to me. And I'm talking about people in Venezuela. I'm talking about the Latinos. He said he was going to do it. He's been trying to do it since his last term. But then you're angry because you feel like, where are the black people to support you? I'm sorry, 92% of us, black women, and 80% of black men, we showed up for you.
Mm-hmm.
We showed up for you. So that stress that you feel, that heaviness that you feel, we tried to alleviate that for you.
Yes.
But you didn't keep us in mind because you thought that you were white and you thought that you were better.
And see, and this is the stress you're now dealing with. And also the piggyback on that is causing grief. Let's talk about grief for a minute. We've all suffered grief in one form or another through a loss of a loved one, transitioning. It could be a pet. And I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But the grief that we're about to suffer now is going to be no comparison in what we've gone through. And then you can't weigh one without the other. It's apple and oranges. But it's going to be a cry for the nation. And then we look at people who cannot fend for themselves, veterans, senior citizens, you have disabilities. And then let's talk about the educational system. He is ready to tear apart the Department of Education. And he's already put a block on loans for federal grants and loans. And people need this money to run and operate their businesses. And you think about, I went to school, Micha, on the BEOG grant, the Basic Opportunity, Education Opportunity Grant. And that money was given to us so that we could become educated. You pull back the Pell Grant, you pull back all these grants now, and it's going to deprive, especially African Americans or middle class or people who, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
The point is, and I say this all the time, it was never to make America great again. It was to make America white again. Mm-hmm. They look at the numbers and they see that black women are extremely successful in having their own business and schooling and all the things. Can't have that.
Can't have it.
In hospitals, they're seeing Asians, they're seeing Indian, they're seeing these black doctors, and they're becoming less and less. We don't want them working on us. They're seeing all of these things. And so the object is, let's stop them from getting their education.
That's what they're doing.
Those that have it. But we're going to stop this next generation that's coming up from getting education. We're going to strip these books out of the libraries. We're going to burn these books in schools. We're going to change curriculum. We're going to do all these things so they can't know that white people did all of these bad things. Why would we do that? They don't want that to know. So it's really going to be up to parents
to educate,
raising children, to teach them their black history, to teach them. And the reality of the situation is, it is so blatant. Mm-hmm. And the grief that we're feeling is the grief of everything that those before us fought for is basically being dismantled. Mm-hmm. It's like you have an onion and someone is stripping the onion, they're peeling it back, taking everything that we've built, everything that we strive for. And we're literally having to grieve that. And then again, like I was saying, there's the other aspect of the people that are grieving the fact that they voted for this administration, not
Yes.
thinking that it would affect them. But their racism was louder than their common sense.
Was louder than their common sense.
They were willing to allow their racism to literally put on the back burner their everyday needs for their present and their future. That's how much racism played a part in this. They were so concerned about not only a woman, but a black woman. That really did it. Because if you think about it, when he won the first term, that was insane. Because Hillary was beyond qualified, but it was because she was a woman.
She was a woman.
So then for it to happen again, and then it be a mixed race woman who literally presents herself as a black woman. Then they had black people going at each other, trying to determine, or they tried to make it seem that black people were going at each other's heads about what race she was. Then they tried to make it seem like black men weren't supporting her.
That's right. So now you look at a lot of things going on. I want to share a term with you, Micha.
Mhm.
And those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Live to Be Well with my co-host, ML6 radio personality. And I thank God for the knowledge base that my daughter has and the interest that she has in helping to educate our program. So I want to talk about, different aspects. Please share with your family and friends that we're on the air. Let someone know, and we welcome your comments and your questions. So let's put on the screen affect heuristic. Now, is a mental shortcut that causes people to rely on their emotions instead of objective information when making decisions. And the problem with this is they're basing it on fear, pleasure, or surprise. The decisions that are made can be led to do something so spontaneous that you don't allow yourself to make a logical decision. Again, is a mental shortcut. So if I don't get what I want, then I'm going to take a shortcut to get to what I need. And therefore, with this current situation, this administration is trying to find a shortcut to be able to deal with Americans, especially African Americans, so that they are making decisions and they are processing this to put fear into people. They're putting fear into people and they are doing it as an element of surprise, like you have no choice. They try to put an injunction in with the federal courts to stop this ruling. And so therefore, 20,000 people have accepted this affect heuristic. Again, let me say this, it's a mental shortcut that allows people to make decisions and solve problems quickly and efficiently, in which current emotion, fear, and pleasure and surprise influences the decisions. In other words, is a type of heuristic in which emotional response or effect is psychologically termed, and it plays a lead role. It is a subconscious process that shortens the decision-making process and allow people to function without having a complete and extensive search for information. You don't have all the information. You didn't have it all when you put this man in office in this administration. You took a shortcut by voting for this administration, and this is what the outcome is. And let me say this, I don't care what's going on. It goes right back to God. It goes back to Psalm 78. God's going to wipe out the wicked in due season. In due season, he's going to deal with all of this. But we're going to have to go through some things, and we're going to have to experience some things as we go through this climate right now in this administration. I want to encourage you to, stand on God's word, stand on your prayer life, increase your prayer life. Because if you don't, you're going to give in to this. So, Micha, I work for the federal government and they offer me a buyout. Now, it's not even a buyout, okay, a furlough. And you say to me, I'll give you 8 months of pay, but go home, So what is the point of all this? It's greed. You're cutting the budgets across the globe to put money into your pocket so that, and make white great again, so that these people will lose their jobs. So you take all their salary and then you put it into your pocket.
But beyond that, let's be very, very clear. He does not like educated people.
He doesn't.
He likes uneducated people and he likes loyalists. So having educated people in those positions will challenge him. And because he's a bully, an ignorant bully, he doesn't want to be challenged. If you challenge him, he's giving you the boot. So instead of waiting for someone to challenge him, he's saying, let me dismantle any and everything that would bring that about. Let me tell you about the trick that he even did yesterday. So over the weekend, you hear about the tariffs. Mexico tariffs, the tariffs in Canada. 10%, he's gonna do 25. Mexico's like, oh, bet this is what you're gonna do. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna start with the red states. Canada's like, oh, okay, I got your number. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Then on Monday, it comes out, oh, we sat down and we had a conversation. We came to this, that, and the third. As long as we send 10,000 troops to the border from Mexico to the US, as long as we send from Canada to the border to the US, everything is cool. The tariffs are on hold for 30 days. But here's the crazy thing. All of that stuff was already in place before he even got in office. He tried to play them. They played him double to make him think that it was his idea. But he knew that it wasn't. This is all a plan, ladies and gentlemen, that to get educated people out of their jobs, to put them in positions where they have to figure out what they're going to do after 8 months. And remember when he said, they're taking Black jobs.
Mm. Taking, and he identified them. What is a Black job? Remember? What is a Black job?
Black jobs.
Black jobs.
And also to put women back at home. So women,
Yes.
that's a lot of JD Vance's whole thing of women not voting, women being at home. This is a lot of what to do with the abortion. Because they want them to keep having babies and keep having babies and keep having babies. And the fact of the matter is, they would be the minority in about 20 to 30 years, I think, something like that. And that terrifies them.
Mm-hmm.
That terrifies them. And again, like going back to what I said, they don't want history to show them as being the bad people, all while being the bad people. I saw a quote today and it said, slavery is white history.
Mm.
How we survived it is Black history.
Mm.
And they don't want that to be known.
They don't want that to be known.
No.
They want to take Black history off the calendar. They want to wipe it out.
He took it off, right? But then he tried to come back and act like he brought it back. Sir,
you can't bring anything back.
Man, he is a very, and I use this word, and I don't like to misuse this word because it is an overused word.
Yes.
All of these words.
Yes.
He will gaslight you to no end, and he is extremely narcissistic.
Yes.
He's also ignorant. Okay.
Very.
And even like him. He has gotten by off of privilege and privilege alone because of what he has done, what he was capable of doing. And now he's sitting in office. And to be clear, Project 2025 was a very real thing. And they're checking off everything, like going down the list, just checking it off. And so for everyone that believed that it wasn't real because they changed the name, they're feeling the burn of all of this. But those that knew, we knew.
We knew. We knew.
He even responded to the tragedy of the plane crash. He didn't go visit. He didn't say any kind words to those families, not even the ones in DC and not the ones in Philly. He has said nothing. He is unpresidential in every sense of the word. But he is a dictator. He is a bully, and he is coming for. It's almost as if he is making America suffer for him not getting back in the last time when Biden won.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He figures, I'm going to make America suffer as a whole, but I'm going to make sure that my friends and my loyalists and my buddy, that we're good. And
this again is where the stress increases. This is where the anxiety increases, depression. You're going to see a high risk. You're going to see a magnified of suicide. You're going to see an increase of suicide.
It's going to be a lot of crime because people are going to get desperate.
Addiction. You're going to see a lot of addiction.
It's going to be
you know.
going to be a lot of different things, and it's going to show up in a lot of different ways.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You have to be in tune with yourself. This is why you have to have conversations in your home. And this is what I've been telling my people on air. And I've been telling you, Mom, I've been saying, like, create community and having open conversations. It's time to open up the churches and have these conversations. No streaming, closed conversations, how people as a community, how we're going to survive this going forward. Because here's the thing. One thing I can say, Black folks, the reason we're kind of like, because we've been here before.
Oh, yeah.
Black folks have been here before. Now, it has been easier than the ones that had it before us, but we've heard the stories. We've seen the struggle. You know what I'm saying? We know how to make it with less than. You understand what I'm saying? We know how to make it with having all the glit and glam that life can offer. We know what to do. We are very resourceful people. If everybody else is about to lose their mind. But one thing I can say is to minimize the stress, to minimize the grief, to handle the hidden racism and the very blatant racism, we are going to have to create communities.
Right, community. Remember when we had the blackout? I remember my neighbor made zucchini bread. My other neighbor had salmon, and I had potato salad, and some other neighbors had some other things, and we all came together and we survived. With some neighbors needed gasoline and shared and found a gas station and filled up some cans, and we drove all over trying to find different things to bring back and take care of each other. We all looked out for each other, and that's what we're going to have to do again. Be a community.
That community, and creating, and not just any community, safe communities.
A safe community.
Communities where your resources, where they're available to you, and it's fair. It's not just someone completely giving. It's everyone coming together. Here's what I have to offer. Here's what I have to offer.
A potluck. It's gonna be like a melting pot. A potluck.
It has to be a big, huge potluck of resources.
Right. I know when on Sabbath afternoon we had potluck dinners at my girlfriend's house, and we'll come here, and people say, well, do I need to bring something? If you can, because we want to all contribute to this potluck. So we're going to have to be a resource to one another, a support system to one another. I got an email, a text message from my good friend, comedian Jonathan Slocum. So what I did was I sent it out to everybody. I said, because we need a little laughter, and I said to myself, what can I do to bring some type of peace, some tranquility? So I started sending it out to everybody that I knew would like to go and have some comedy. We need some laughter. And so one young lady said to me, what do I do now that I'm going through this? And I recommended her to take care of herself, self-care, exfoliate, take a warm bath. Today I went and got some oil of oregano to put in my water to deal with my internal.
I want her to stop acting like that was her idea, because I've been telling her to get on this oil of oregano since COVID, ladies and gentlemen. So she will sit here and act like she just came up with this idea on her own. Because I've been taking it since COVID. No, You're not. I can't even let you do it. I'm not gonna let you do it. I'm not gonna let you do it. I'm not.
Well, you didn't let me finish. I was going to give it. I was going to let you know.
In the store, mind you, I gave her specific instructions on what to get. She gets moves. She acts like she doesn't know what she's doing. I've asked somebody again. I'm on the phone. Then she puts me on FaceTime, ladies and gentlemen, and she picks up what I told her to get and another form of it. I said, no, that's not what I told you to get, because I know what she can take. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, she's gonna take it and she's gonna be like, where my applesauce? She's gonna be so dramatic. When it's like, girl, if you don't just put a half a cup of water with these 4 drops of oregano and swing it back and go on life and live to be well. I just had to put that truth out there. Uncle Kenny, I see you on. I just had to put it out there that your friend, your sister, she will act like a big baby and act like it was her idea when it's not. It's not. Don't do that.
Kenny, she does not. I mean, she's too hard on me. She's too hard on me. You know, I should have brought Kenny on the show tonight. Get ready, Kenny, because we're bringing you back. Okay. You know how Micah is. Okay, that is your niece. That is your niece all the way. But I got the oregano to deal with stress, to deal with anxiety. Check your. She is really checking me, Kenny.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like in all seriousness, there's a respiratory situation going on in the
Oh
United States
yeah.
of America. Flu A is very rapid. COVID is still a thing. And what they're doing is, with us being out of the World Health, with us being like the FDA, all the things that would readily give us the information that we need to know about what's going on with health, things that are being recalled, they've taken those things away because, again, he don't like the education. He don't like the educated people. He doesn't want people to be aware. He wants people to suffer. He wants people to suffer. So we're here to tell you, please get things for your lungs. Look up things for your lungs. There are specific teas that are directly for your lungs. Every night, I drink turmeric and ginger tea every single night. I take the oil of oregano in the morning and at night.
Okay.
My echinacea, my golden seal, my vitamin C. I take my chlorophyll. I mean, I am my grandmother's child. My grandmother was an herbalist.
Yes.
And so I picked up those same, like, I have to have it. I'm making sure my mom has it. But there are specific teas that are specifically for your lungs and for your respiratory. Please, I beg of you, take care of your bodies. Because right now, there is really a lack of information, and they're doing that purposefully.
Oh, yes, they are. And I have to say, I do feel better. And also, let's talk about, prescription drugs. Now, it's quite interesting. I went to the pharmacy. My daughter says, Mom, are you up to date on all your prescriptions? Do you have enough in the house? So I called my doctor, I called my pharmacist, and I went to go pick it up. And of course, it wasn't ready. And I went to call my doctor. They called it into another pharmacist, and they gave me another type of inhaler. So I said, okay, I'll go pick up my other one tomorrow to have two in the house. And so, therefore, we've got to be mindful to have these things in our home. Don't wait to the last minute. Whatever you may need, you need to stock up on things now because it's going to be a shift. It's going to be a major shift.
And even if you have a local black pharmacy,
Yes.
go to your local black pharmacist and community. This is what I'm talking about. Just having conversations, thinking what the local pharmacist is able to offer, be it at a discount, whatever the case may be, because they're aware. They're aware of what's going on. But this is a time for you to literally mobilize, finding the black gas station, the black gas station owner, and create a relationship, an authentic relationship with that person. You know what I'm saying? Finding the black farmers that are in your communities. Planting vegetables and fruits in your backyards. These are the time that we're taking it back. We're taking it back to the days of old and what those before us did in order for communities to grow.
Yes.
When they didn't allow us in the stores, when they didn't allow us in the schools. This is a time for us to say, okay, collectively, what books do we have? Let's create and see what books we have that we can make sure we can keep or even go in. Okay, they're throwing books away. We're going to find those books and we're going to get those books and we're going to bring them back into the community for our libraries to have, or for us to even have. This is going to be a time for the churches to open up. This is a time for the churches to open up and for education purposes and having health seminars and having, people come in and do blood pressure and having these type of things within our black churches.
Yes.
These are things that need to be done and communicated. Like, we're going to have to really focus on the main thing being the main thing.
Right. And like we said tonight, make it make sense. Kenny, we love you too. We always feel that you're a part of our community and we're a part of yours when we visit Huntsville. Let me say this to everyone. It's so important that you have a spiritual connection, that you don't allow anyone to block that spiritual connection to God. I believe that the administration that's in office now is numb to spirituality. I believe that there is no connection. I can't judge a person. I'm not here to judge. But there's no compassion. There's no loyalty to people. Even the minister who was the speaker at the prayer breakfast, she spoke to him. And he looked at her with such contempt. And she said the word, she said,
And
be
then
compassionate. Huh?
and then came for her online like she was this evil person.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's why
And so
evangelicals, I can't take them seriously in any way, shape, or form. I didn't take them seriously before, but I definitely can't take them now. Anybody that backed him and supported him and they said, oh, Jesus himself has sent him to us. What? Because not him. not this, not
God
this,
is not a God of evilness.
not this evil man. That's who you backing. But they've been real quiet.
Yes, they. Now I have to say that, Micah, the evangelical church has been very, very quiet.
Well,
They're not
evangelical Christians have been very,
very
very quiet.
haven't been saying anything. They were so vocal during the campaign.
A lot of even if they are
Yes.
talking. But you would see stuff circulating prior to him getting into
Oh,
office.
yeah. Oh,
Now
yes.
they're not saying
Anything. Nothing's being said. And again,
that you can sit up here and claim that you are a believer and that you are following the word and God and this and the third, and then you're literally okay with what he's doing. Make it make sense. You can't. You can't. But here's the thing. Those people, they will continue to go to those churches. They won't stream those servers. They'll have their quiet meetings. They'll do everything they can. They'll do all of that stuff in secret. They will. And they know who they are amongst themselves. I don't care to know them. I don't care to know them. It's unfortunate where we are right now.
It is.
That the let me say something. I used to think like, man, it's just messed up that it's just out like that. Like, keep it covered. But nah, I want to know who you are. So I know exactly who I'm dealing with.
Who you're dealing with. So I'll know how you come in. I do not want to be blindsided. You see,
who I'm dealing with. And for the black people that are like, oh, I'm still woo. I want you to love yourself better.
You deserve better.
Love yourself better. I want you to really break down the components as to why you hate yourself so much that you literally are supporting a man like that. Because that's what it is. You hate yourself so much. You hate what you represent. You hate the skin that you're in. It's something about you that is so broken that you feel like that man is going to do something for you. He is not. He used you.
He is not your savior.
He used every single group of people he used. Dearborn, Michigan, how you feeling right now that he wants to turn Gaza into a place where you put a resort, so to speak? He's trying to get all the people out and make it a resort for vacation and businesses. So all those people in Dearborn, Michigan that were like, oh, whatever you do, if you're not going to vote for Jill Stein, vote for Trump. Don't vote for Kamala. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
They're not saying a word now. Nothing. And you know what? And let me say this, I'm so proud of my daughter because we have these conversations and she keeps me abreast. It's more than just the news, but doing something about it. And you have to have these conversations. Like Micha has conversations with me, and you got to ask questions. You can't be afraid of what's going on. You need to know. Talk to your children. Let them be aware, especially our African American young males, and our Black men. We have to be aware. You all have to be really, really aware. We too, as Black women, we must be aware because it is a genocide to eliminate us. All right. This has been their direction for hundreds of years. So again, you've got to be
there has to be a shift in conversation, even at the barbershop. There has to be a shift when it should be about, women and money and da. Like, there has to be, the older Black man really has to have the deep, in-depth conversation to really understand what's going on. This is what I'm talking about, community. It really all boils down to community. That is really how a lot of the stress, a lot of everything we're going to be able to maneuver. We're going to be able to maneuver. And for everyone that's, I've seen a lot of posts that, again, why Black people not, it's just really interesting if you notice. there haven't been a lot of marches, there haven't been a lot of protests, there haven't been a lot of different things. Now today the Democrats did, get on the front lines, and because the way this man is dismantling all types of things illegally is insane. But it's just very interesting to me that we as a people have been at the forefront of the marches, leading the way, not just for ourselves, but for other people. And when we decided to say, you know what, y'all got it, y'all got it, it's as if everybody's just behind their computer going off. Y'all so mad, get from behind your computers. But it's like they're waiting for us to do it.
Right.
Again,
Right.
we did it voting day.
Mm-hmm.
Voting day.
That's right.
And I want to salute all those white, brown, other that understand the stance that Black women are taking, that understand what we did, and they have honored us and saluted us, and they're like, yo, they did, because the numbers did not lie of who showed up. So I want to say, salute those people that, because they're getting the brunt of it, and they went out and voted too.
Yes, they did. We did. I did.
But their people did not follow suit.
They didn't follow suit. And this is where the conversation should have taken place within these communities and families and the church.
But that was a lot of these people did not want to know the information. Again, their racism was louder than common sense.
Right. Affect heuristic. They did not want to have all the information.
There were people catching people on the street and asking them, why were they voting? What was this? Da, 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 da. Do you know that they caught a lady on the street? She said that Jesus Christ himself would have to be deported because he was an immigrant.
Oh my Lord. Because Jesus was an immigrant. Yes, Lord. Come on now.
He would have to prove Jesus himself. And her husband that was standing next to her, that was very much MAGA, was embarrassed even that she even said it out loud, because she said it with her chest. You trying to tell me, because the reality situation is Jesus, the one that we all love, that they claim to love, was an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
So they would deport him.
Well, I got something even on this side with the arts. Meryl Streep stood up before she accepted her award and said, if this goes forward, this is before the election, she said, everyone in this room tonight would have to go back because you're from Canada. And she started calling names on this actor, this actress. You're from Scotland. You're from Europe. You're from France. You're from Toronto. I'm from here. Viola Davis, your parents picked cotton, and she said there would be no Hollywood. It would be no arts. Everything is gone. And she said, be mindful who you are going to put in office, because I'm an immigrant. That means I'm going to be shipped out of here.
Because they sold that lie that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and he did not. The Indians did.
The Indians did.
Here, they're trying to deport them too and take away their rights as well. This is how far they're trying to take it. This is how far they're trying to literally erase history, so it's only their history.
It's their history.
But that's going to get the ones that voted for him upset. It's going to, when they realize that their Social Security, their Medicaid, eggs. I was at the grocery store today, and the man was just standing at the freezer, and I was like, excuse me, and he said, I'm sorry, I am just baffled at how much eggs are. And I wanted to ask him, but who did you vote for? Because it was about the eggs, and it was about gas, and it was about rent, but everything he's trying to do.
And you won't be able to do it on your Social Security or your pension.
Home ownership? What is that? If you don't already have a house right now, you might as well forget. You might as well forget
when your own home.
And the Harris administration was trying to create so that people could get homes and create single family homes and build and create generational wealth. This administration don't want that.
They don't want that. They want their own wealth. I got something for you. This news reporter said to this school principal, he said, my children come to school and they have a breakfast and lunch. Okay, hear me now. Fridays, lunch is their last meal until Monday.
Mm-hmm.
My sports program is going to be cut. My
Mm-hmm.
music program will be cut. So the news
Mm-hmm.
reporter said, well, who did you vote for? And he said, Donald Trump. And he said, but I didn't vote for this. And the
Yes, you
news
did.
reporter, yes, you did. The news
You,
reporter said, yes, you did vote for this.
you did.
How can you stand here and say this? And this man, gave you this whole premise of what he was going to do.
Look, there was a book that you could go online and read for yourself, Project 2025. It was
Mhm.
in plain sight,
That's right.
but he did not want to believe it
Yeah,
because it was
people didn't.
so cruel. There's no way. And when he said I don't know anything about Project 2025, he lied. He lied, and they believed him. It was in plain sight. It was for everyone to see.
It's going
And
to
again,
be it's going to be bare minimum of education. They're not going to offer you anything that's going to be of value that we all fought so hard for.
he came for the SBA grants today. That his sidekick Musk came for because that's why he's trying to get all of the information, your social security numbers, your tax information, all of these things. Mind you, this is a citizen, but again, they've given him a government title, but he wants all the SBA information. So even like getting small grants is going to be hard, especially for small businesses. They're going to make it virtually impossible to do that. They don't want anyone to succeed. They do not want anyone to succeed. And it's just unfortunate that the 92 and the 80% that did not vote for this, we're going to have to suffer. But that's when the 92 and the 80% are going to have to come together.
Yes.
And because the time is now, ladies and gentlemen, if it's something that you want to do, and I say this with everything that's in me, if it is something that you want to do, the time is now to do it. Do it. Just do it. Deep denial from folks who saw the playbook that acted like he couldn't possibly do what he was doing. Well, the truth of his deception is now the reality. Thank you, Uncle Kenny. It is now the reality. But if there is something that you want to do, now is the time to do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen?
Hmm.
So these are just the things in alignment with what we're talking about. It is going to be stressful. They've been saying it. They're going to bombard us with so many things, and they have. It's been what 2 weeks this has been the second week of him being in office. 2 weeks, and it has been insane. Not to mention all the other things that have gone on in the country since January 1.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only going to get worse. But they do all of this to try to wear you out. So when like the big stuff happens, you're not going to have it in you to fight. You're not going to have it in you to protest. This is what they're doing. They're banking on tiring it out because let's also be clear. Him and that pen, him signing executive orders, a lot of that stuff isn't even going, it can't, it's illegal.
It's illegal.
It just sounds like, oh my goodness. A lot of that stuff he can't do. Has to go through Congress. There's a system of things. But because he's unconstitutional, that's why his press secretary got up there and said the Constitution is unconstitutional because they're trying to make it seem like they are above the law.
Yes.
And here's the reality situation is because he has been given that clearance, because he is not, this is that whole thing of him getting the presidency is the epitome of rewarding bad behavior.
What? Co-signing bad behavior.
It's the epitome of co-signing bad behavior. Him being in that office, Musk being in that office, all of the people that they put him through all of these, they sit him down, they go through all of this stuff. RFK got cleared. Everybody that they sat through and said all of the things horrible things that these people have done, they've all been cleared. Secretary of Attorney General, the Department of Defense, all of these people that are in these positions are horrible people. But they're loyal.
Their loyalty.
Rewarded and is being co-signing the bad behavior.
And look at, check this out. Both their wives are immigrants. Musk's wife is Indian and Trump's wife is from Europe.
Even American.
not even American. He's not even American.
Like, what are we talking about here? What are we
I'm
talking about here?
And Micah, I wrote that book, Co-Signing Behavior, over 7 years ago, and now here it's come to play. Co-signing bad behavior by commission or omission. They're co-signing it and just doing whatever they want to do.
America is going to have to feel this. It's an unfortunate reality, but America is going to have to. America has shown herself to be racist, lacking compassion, very ignorant, unaware, and for however long, America's going to have to feel this.
Oh, for sure.
So this is why we have to seriously be in our word, finding things to really bring us peace, be it a show, be it a series. You know, for me, I was feeling it with the LA fires. It was very, very difficult. And I even though I didn't have to evacuate, but I was very prepared. I made sure that I was very prepared. But to be in the atmosphere of it and to see people lose everything who didn't think that they were going to lose everything, or to see people who didn't think that they were going to lose their homes, so they stayed to try to fight for their homes, and they ended up losing their lives in their homes. And to see the lack of competency, especially with the Eaton fighters in Altadena with the electric company, and the very strong possibility that they are very much at fault for what happened in Altadena. I can't necessarily say for Palisades, but it put me in a, because I am an empath, and to my empaths out there, hear me and hear me well. If you are an empathetic person, you're going to have to guard yourself in a completely different way, because this gets very, very heavy. And there was a heaviness that I felt because I was feeling it for skunks that were fighting for their lives, because the wildlife that was their homes that burnt. That the wildlife, they were fighting for their homes as well. And there was a skunk that literally was fighting for his life because he had smoke inhalation. And it was a man that he landed on the man's back porch, and the man did everything he could for the skunk, and the skunk ended up dying. I was sitting on my couch, bawling my eyes out over a skunk. But it was just the heaviness of loss and grief that I was feeling for everybody else. Hearing stories of Black families. One woman had just paid off her home the day before the fires. Another Black family had just, like 2 weeks before. I've never owned a home, but I can imagine when you finally pay it off and it's yours, it's in your name, there's a sense of like accomplishment with that. But this one lady who had just finished paying off her home the day before, she said, but I have a sense of peace because I know I got God, I have my life, and I have my family. And I literally bawled. And then there was another man who said, in contrast, he's looking, his neighbor's house is still standing. And then he said, well, I guess I'm not one of God's favorites because my house is gone. And that broke my heart, because that's a sense of grief. And then you feeling like God isn't with you. And then on one hand, this lady is like, even through it all, I feel a sense of peace that God is with me. So you have these two different circumstances, both feeling grief, but both looking at God differently. And I immediately started praying for both of them differently, that somehow, some way, God shows up to the man and reminds him that even in the midst of this, I am still good. You may not see it now. You may not feel it now. And it may be months, it may be years. But I was like, God, please do something for him to show him that he isn't one of your forgotten ones. And that you think he's special. That was my prayer for him. Just as an empath, there's going to be so many things that happen and that are going to happen that you're going to have to find and protect your peace and find things that bring you peace. This now more than ever across the board, it is imperative. It is imperative that you, whether it be coloring, putting puzzles together, doing certain things that keep your mind
counseling
good place, because there's going to be so many things that are happening. I told my listening audience when all of this stuff happened, I said, what I'm not going to do is bombard you. Now, I may bombard myself with information, but even with that, I have to give myself breaks. I'm aware enough to know, but then sometimes it's just too much. I said, I'm not going to bombard you, but what I am going to do, things that are concerning to our community and things that I feel that are concerning to your everyday well-being, I will definitely let you know. But we're not about to do every break. I'm not about to be telling you what this man is doing.
Right.
That's what we're not about to do. That's protecting my peace through also helping my listening audience. Because at the end of the day, I am a gospel inspirational station. I want to see the main thing.
That's it. Let's go back and read Uncle Kenny's statement. Deep denial from folks who saw the playbook but acted like he couldn't possibly do what he is doing. Well, the truth of his deception is now their reality. That's it.
It's a new day. It is a new reality, and it's an unfortunate reality.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an unfortunate reality. But I've been telling you. I told you even starting last year. I said, hey, when you go to the grocery store, just get a little extra every
And
time. Not go crazy, but just get a little extra because I don't know what's going to happen. Making sure you have flashlights. Because the other situation, if you really was gonna go toe to toe with Canada, Canada controls the energy, especially in Michigan.
yeah. Let me tell you, shut it down immediately. We can just
batteries for your flashlights. Making sure that you have, perishable foods and things of that nature. Here's the thing: it's not to scare anybody, and please don't misunderstand me. But there is a sense of preparedness that you have to have so that it minimizes the stress when you go to the grocery store and you can't find toilet tissue, you can't find paper towels, sanitary napkins, tampons, fellas, when you can't find, your deodorant, whatever. Just when you go to the grocery store, just if you can,
a little bit more.
One extra. If you get one deodorant, get the 2-pack. You know what I'm saying? Just do it, and you start, stocking up and getting things that you can't. Ordering the water that lasts for 5 years in case of an emergency. Things like that. It minimizes the stress when and if. When they said that there was a possibility of evacuation, I looked around this apartment of mine. I said, what do I need to take? What can go with me? What would I be sad about? I made sure that I had all my papers, know where all your papers are, keep them in a safe place. I made sure I found my daddy's handkerchief. I was looking for that. I got my daddy's handkerchief. And it really makes you think about what's important.
Yeah, because a lot of
you
stuff.
You have to say, if I got to move quick, what am I taking?
Mm-hmm.
It puts you in a sense of gratitude. And again, it helps minimize the stress. Because the reality is, at any given time, everything could be gone because of no matter, anything could happen. Any random thing could happen.
I remember when my home caught on fire, but I have that black bag, don't I, Micha? Everything is in that bag. And Micha knows that black bag. And I keep everything in it. I all got to do is grab it. And I make sure that I have a bag of clothes ready and food or whatever. And I keep a case of water in my car now because anything could happen. And I have other things in my trunk. So I thank you, Micha, because you were definitely, talking to this audience today. You were really coming strong. You gave us information. You educated us. And it goes all the way back. And did you hear my daughter say, you've got to have a connection with God. You have to have a spiritual link with God. You have to enhance your prayer life, time in your word. You've got to understand what is coming upon us and the warfare so that you can hold on to your faith and not get afraid. Don't you dare get afraid, because God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind.
Really memorizing those. This is why they say, like, the word has to be in your heart, because when things happen, you may not be able to pick up a Bible. The phone. That's right. You got to have that word in your heart and in your mind to get you through, to help you through, to keep you encouraged. Like, you have to, like, this studying. I read every morning.
That's right.
Psalms 27 and Psalms 1.
Yes.
I literally go to sleep with a prayer of protection playing while I sleep.
That's right.
What I have to do. These are just the things that I do to get me through every single day, not to mention the everyday life issues on top of all the stuff in the world. I have to make sure I am Psalm 27, Psalm 91, prayer protection while I sleep.
That's it. And then I look at my Psalms 23. I look at my Psalms 91, Psalms 34, James chapter 1. And then I go over to 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And then I go to Psalms 34:1, I'll bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continue to be in my mouth. Genesis 1:1, for God created the heavens and the earth. God created the heavens and the earth. You've got to, he said, if you put it in your mind, I'll bring it back to your remembrance. But you got to study to show thyself approved, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Because Micah is right. What if we don't have time to pick up our Bibles? They're going to take our Bibles from us in the last days. And when Daniel was in the lion's den, I want to believe Daniel, he knew his word and he stood on his word. So I am encouraging, as we get ready to close out, that you take that personal time in the morning. Denzel Washington said, take that quiet time in the morning to spend with God and to have that time for yourself. Before you start getting on your phone, getting on your computer, checking your emails, spend time with God.
I want to take a moment.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to take a moment. You know, whenever we hear things that are happening in the world, be it the weather, be it just weird certain things, this is like between my friends and I, we like, yo, what chapter of Revelation are we in? Like, where are we in this thing? And it was something that happened, and it led me to Revelation 13. I think it was when the Target thing happened, and I was just, mind you, I don't shop at Target like that, but it was just like, we don't do nothing. We just go in there to shop, to do our thing. Like, why is everybody coming for us? And then I was feeling bad for the Black women that have their items in there, and they're just trying to do the best they can for their family. But Revelation 13:9 says, anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Anyone who is destined for prison will be taken to prison. Anyone destined to die by the sword will die by the sword. But this is the part of that verse that really got me in verse 10. This means that God's holy people must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful. We're gonna have to endure this, but it's going to be how we endure it is going to make the difference.
That's right. That's right.
We have to do it patiently and remain faithful.
Amen. Amen, daughter. Amen. I am so thankful that I raised my children in the will of the Lord, and my children are still with the Lord. That's a mother's prayer and desire, parents' prayer, that their children are in the ark of safety. I want to say to all the families who lost loved ones in the flight and that collision, our prayers are with you here from the staff and the team of Live to Be Well. And to all those who lost so much in the California fires, because this is our first broadcast since that time. And I'm so thankful that the Lord spared my daughters. And I thank you for all your prayers for my children. And I give God the glory. And my other relatives and friends in California, they were spared. We're praying for those who lost loved ones. And during this Black History Month, we are celebrating all people because we are all God's children. And we must remember that the journey that we have come through, the fight, we have fought a good fight, but it is not over. But remember, laid up for us is a crown of righteousness. And I'm going to wear my crown when Jesus comes. So let us, like Micha said, be patient and stay and remain faithful as we go through this persecution, because God is on our side. He is with you. Micha, ML6.
Thank you for celebrate Black History Month. As we celebrate Black History Month, remember that you black.
And black is beautiful.
And you're not going to let anybody tell you different, and to not be proud of your blackness. We're going to say it loud. We black and we proud, not only in February, but every single day.
Yes.
You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough. You are educated. You are strong. And even in your weakness, it won't define you, it will edify you. But we
Come
are
on.
blackity black, blackity black.
Come on now. You better say that, ML6. I love look at me, black. I love it. Excellent. Amen. And
Black History Month ever.
it's every day. It's every day because we do not change the color of our skin, and that's why ML6, she looked just like me. Don't y'all see it? See the resemblance with ML6 and her mother? She looked just like me. Okay. Well, listen, we love you. We thank God. And we're praying for the administration, for God to do a sweep of cleanliness and righteousness. God's going to have his way. Don't lose hope. Stay encouraged. And ML6, what do we say when we close out? Live to be well. Good
Bye.
night.